Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2014 Mini Cooper. Up front is a 1.5 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder, and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video for two reasons. First of all, I don't review a whole lot of minis here on the channel, and I'm actively trying to change that, so here we are today. The second reason is the fact that this is a base. It has the smaller engine option and a 6-speed manual transmission. So let's see what it was like to own a base model Mini Cooper 11 years ago. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for loaning me this vehicle for today's video. You can check out their inventory down in the description below. They always have fun and interesting cars, and this is the flavor of the day. But let's get back to that 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 3-cylinder. Well, as I mentioned, that is the base engine, and it makes about 134 horsepower, which isn't terrible. It's not spectacular, but you could upgrade to the 2-liter turbo engine at the time, which I actually reviewed years and years and years ago and absolutely loved it. That was one of the earliest reviews I ever did. But I honestly think that the 3-cylinder is good for this application. You have to remember, this is a basic car, or at least Mini's basic car, and that might mean something special. But honestly, I think the 3-cylinder feels at home. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed manual. Now, the clutch is a little unforgiving, but in a very British car way. There's not a whole lot of travel. And the shifter itself is rather similar in a very British humor style way where it's very monotone. And however, I wouldn't say it's bad in any regard. I like the shifter. I don't mind the clutch. It is what it is, but it's a basic manual vehicle, and I like that aspect of it a lot. Last but not least, of course, the Mini Cooper is front-wheel drive, as they were all the way back even in the 1960s. How does it feel to drive the base model 2014 Mini? It's fine. It's zippy enough. It's fun for sure, but again, you're not going to break any records, you're not going to break any sound barriers or anything like that. But on a twisty back road, on your way home from work or going to school, if you have that forest preserve that has those two 90-degree turns and you want to kind of nail it on your way to school, it's perfect for that. And so I give it credit. Visibility is great. That's always been a strong suit of Mini Coopers, and that's still true here for the 2014. Steering is a little heavy. Again, all of the controls are just a little bit unfriendly, but not necessarily in the worst way. And the ride quality is fine. Is it good? Is it bad? You can make of that as you will. All right, it's 10 degrees, but I'll put the window down a little bit. Okay, did not want to go into second gear. It's zippy, I would say, to the layman. Someone that doesn't drive 350 cars a year, it's good. It's good enough. It's not wowing me. It's not exciting me. But again, I'm an outlier, someone that drives so many cars all the time. It's just not that special in that regard. But the 1.5 is fine. It's a fine engine. It's gonna be used. It's good. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior because we have quite the weird features in here. Well, in front of me, I have kind of a gauge cluster. Off to the left is my tachometer. In the center is the speedometer. And off to the right is the fuel of these sort of LED light bars. Very, very odd. And it's outside. I can physically touch the fuel gauge. Can't often be said about most vehicles. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our cruise control options. And off to the right, we have voice commands, phone options, volume, and skip track. Off to the left, we have a circular vent with our headlight switches down below. And moving out of the door, we have lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, this is where you'll find another oddity, is not only the radio, but what surrounds the radio. Now, in modern Mini Coopers, this is actually a giant touchscreen, but this is pre-touchscreen. So we have a small radio on the inside. Our favorite buttons sort of follow the curve of the circle, but also when you change the climate controls, the circle actually changes. So as you go up in fan speed, the circle fills in more with gray. When you change the temperature, it changes red and blue. Very interactive, and I like that a lot. Down below, we have our climate controls. These are actually one of the most normal parts of this car, and I like it. We do have heated seats, which is fantastic since it is currently 10 degrees here today. We have a button for our automatic start-stop on and off, our traction control on and off, and our start button. So this is keyless start at the base. Very, very nice. Then we have our 12-volt outlet, USB-A and aux in, and then cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and the Mini Cooper fails. However, a few years earlier, the Mini Cooper S John Cooper Works actually passed. So at least something passed in the Mini's lineage, just not this one. Then we do have the shifter. It is tall, and I like it. It has leather up at the top, and the shift pattern as well. To get into reverse, you have to push really hard all the way to left and then forward. As I mentioned, it's not the friendliest shifter, but I like that it's manual. I like how basic and utilitarian that is, and quite frankly, how fun it is. At the bottom of the shifter, we do have 3 drive modes for sport, mid, and green. There's literally mid mode. Now, what I do notice, although this is a manual, is the sport mode actually feels like it remaps the throttle a little bit. The same throttle input in mid mode does a lot more when you put it into sport mode. Kind of an interesting distinction, especially for a manual transmission car. Then we do have the handbrake and the seats. The seats are heated and leather, and I like them quite a bit. However, you can cut to the in-car video. I have a side visor, so I can put down the front visor and my side visor, which if you're tall, this is going to become an issue because in the last 11 years, it started to flop a little bit, and I was originally hitting my head. I had to lower my seat in order to not hit this sun visor. So, something to note, you might want to remove that altogether if you're above 6 foot. However, speaking of interior space, let's hop into the back, because even though this is a coupe, we do have back seats, and do a back seat review. All right, it is 10 degrees right now, Fahrenheit. I'll put the Celsius down at the bottom of what that is. So this will be the fastest getting into the back seat you'll ever see in a Mini Cooper. Ready, set, go. Yeah. Back in the heat. Oh no, the door's open. Ooh! We're in the back. Now, in all honesty, I can't move the seat up from here. It could come back a couple of inches and I would still be relatively comfortable back here. The Mini Cooper, for my money, has had some of the best interior packaging of any car in history, going back to the 1960s. I actually fit in the 1960s Mini Coopers, and they're the size of a shoebox. Now, they've obviously gotten bigger over time, but the name Mini, and you see the little 2-door, and you park it next to any SUV, and it dwarfs it, you would think, oh, that's miserable to be in. Even in the back seats, it's not that bad. Would I want to drive across country, Dumb and Dumber style, in the back of one of these? No, of course I wouldn't, but it also isn't the worst place I've ever been, ever. So, not too shabby. Not too shabby. Let's get back into the cold and talk about the trunk and cargo space. All right, we're on the back of the Mini Cooper. Little button here, pull it up, and of course you don't get a whole lot of cargo space. You do get this adorable little privacy cover. Absolutely love that. And you do have some space that goes down. These are the floor mats for the next owner. So not terrible, and you can fold these seats down. You can pull this, and they do go down. So you can fold the second row flat, which is nice, but obviously not a whole ton of space. This is where the interior packaging starts to lack, but at the end of the day, this is enough for some groceries and call it a night, which is fantastic. Come back up here, little handle. We also have the toll-free roadside assistance number. There we go. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I really like the cream color that this car is finished in. I kind of like seeing it without the stripes, with the smaller wheels, kind of a bland, basic Mini, because that's what Minis originally were back in the 1960s. They were basic little cars. They turned into something special, and I think when BMW bought them in the early 2000s, they really capitalized on the stripes and the Italian job and all this stuff. It's nice to see one not that. It's not trying to cosplay as the Mark Wahlberg film. It's just a basic little car, and I like that a lot. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Mini Cooper from 2014? A basic Mini Cooper from 2014. Well, here's the thing. Driving it, I've loved it. I've loved that little 3-cylinder, the manual transmission. I fit in here very, very well, which you wouldn't expect, but Mini Coopers actually have fantastic interior space. This car is kind of a slam dunk for me. I really, really like it. However, you're gonna have the maintenance of a BMW and the maintenance costs of a BMW. That 3-cylinder turbo doesn't give me the most confidence in the world. But if you're looking to buy one of these, or if you bought one of these originally, you already passed on the Toyota Corolla. What you should actually buy if you're looking for a car like this, the smart, educated, proper purchase, would be a Toyota Corolla. They're reliable and fine. But a person who buys a Mini doesn't want a Toyota Corolla. They want to stick out. They want something quirky. They want something different than the car that's going to pull up next to them. I, in my hour and a half I've been driving this car, haven't passed another Mini Cooper on the road. And that's kind of cool to a sense. It's not cool for the sales department of Mini, but to me, it's kind of cool. I feel unique, and that's a big selling point of the Mini Coopers. And so this is a car that you buy because you follow your heart and not because of your wallet. And I can't judge you for making that decision. Whenever someone asks me, what car should I buy? I always say a Toyota product or a Honda product or a Mazda product, because they're going to be financially smart decisions. But sometimes you don't need to make the financially smart decision. You got to make the decision that's going to make you the happiest. And sticking out in a crowd in your little Mini Cooper might make you super happy. And I'm not one to judge that decision. And so that's all I have to say about the Mini Cooper. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me borrow their Mini Cooper for today's video. They are absolutely wonderful. They always have really cool vehicles on the lot. This just happens to be one of them. We have worked together for years and years and years, and I hope that that relationship continues. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.